Deep in the shadows of an underground wildlife market in Guangdong, a group of poachers huddles around the back of a truck. Chained inside is a massive Thai crocodile they have just captured, fresh, furious, and worth a fortune in illegal meat. The men argue over the price, their greed louder than their caution. Then someone makes the worst decision of the evening. They decide to untie the beast. The moment the ropes go slack, the crocodile explodes out of the truck in a violent surge, lunging at the criminals and sending the entire group scattering in pure terror. Before the chaos can turn into a bloodbath, an old peasant steps forward from the edge of the crowd. With a calm that seems almost supernatural, he immobilizes the creature and declares in a firm voice that this crocodile belongs to him. The poachers have no answer for that. The next morning, a boy named Shing walks home from school with the lazy, unhurried steps of someone with absolutely no intention of going straight home. As always, he takes a detour straight into the crocodile park, slipping in without permission like he owns the place. He makes his way to the guardrail and leans over it, yelling and waving food in the air to coax the giant crocodile out of its den, but the creature does not stir. Nothing moves. Bored and undeterred, Shing decides to take a rest right there. He pulls his report card out of his bag and lays it over his face to block the sun. Then the wind picks up. The paper lifts off his face and sails straight through the bars of the cage, landing somewhere inside. What any reasonable person would do is walk away and let it go. Shing is not a reasonable person. In a decision that defies all logic, the boy squeezes himself through the bars and walks right into the den of the colossal crocodile. He holds out his candy, still wrapped in the report card filled with failing grades, and offers it to the beast like a peace treaty. The enormous creature lowers its head and chomps down on the snack. For one terrible second, Shing is next. But Mr. Liu appears just in time, grabbing the boy and hauling him out of the enclosure before the crocodile can upgrade from candy to child. Not long after that close call, a group of hunters shows up at the park. Mr. Liu grants them entry, and they move into the cage with professional efficiency, rounding up the smaller crocodiles one by one. Shing watches with growing dread. He knows exactly what comes next. His beloved Mao, the giant crocodile he has been sneaking in to visit, will be the next one taken. The hunters load their tranquilizer guns and approach the den, but the tension is already getting to them. One hunter loses his footing near the water's edge and slips straight into the lake, sending the whole operation into disarray. It becomes clear that this is not a job for ordinary men. Mr. Liu is called in. He picks up a bamboo stick and begins striking it rhythmically against the ground near the entrance of the den, sending vibrations rippling into the darkness. He calls out Mao's name. Deep inside, the enormous creature stirs. It feels the vibrations and responds to them, slowly dragging itself out of hiding and into the open. Shing screams at the top of his lungs, begging Mao not to come out, not to fall into the trap. But it is already too late. The hunters raise their rifles and fire. Dart after dart finds its mark, and the great beast stumbles, then sways, then goes completely still. Mao is loaded onto a transport truck. Shing stands watching as his friend is driven away, and the disappointment on his face is heavy enough to fill the entire park. Mr. Liu stands beside him, and the weight of guilt is written across the old man's face. He has sold all his crocodiles to black market traders, and he knows it. Shing turns to him and asks with quiet devastation whether Mao's meat will be sold in the market. Mr. Liu says nothing. His silence is its own answer. Hours later, the shipment arrives at the black market. The facility is loud and filthy and busy with the kind of commerce that does not like witnesses. Workers use a crane to unload Mao, a 2-ton giant, onto the floor with a heavy thud. The merchant in charge surveys the creature and gives his orders without hesitation. 300 tourists are booked to eat the following day, and he wants as much of this animal processed as possible. On the processing bench nearby, one of the workers has already started on the smaller crocodiles, dispatching them with brutal efficiency. Then it is Mao's turn. The worker steps up, raises his machete, and prepares to bring it down on the massive head, lying perfectly still beneath him. But Mao is not perfectly still. Not anymore. In one explosive instant, the creature snaps back to consciousness, erupts off the bench, and sends the worker flying across the room. Mao hits the ground running, smashing through the containment fences like they are made of paper, tearing through the market in a fury of muscle and scales. The worker who struck first is not so lucky. In the chaos, he tumbles backward into a tank filled with other crocodiles and does not come back out. Out on the highway, a couple named Joe and Ling are cruising along in total comfort. Ling has spent years working in a shoe factory, saving every coin she could, and now she is carrying millions of dollars in cash inside her purse. She does not trust banks. She wants her money where she can see it, feel it, and hold it in her own 2 hands. The conversation is cheerful until Ling opens the glove compartment to grab something and finds another woman's underwear sitting right there in plain sight. The car goes silent for exactly 1 second before Ling detonates. She screams at Joe to pull over immediately. He does. She gets out. Then he makes the second catastrophic decision of the scene. He drives away and leaves her standing alone in the middle of the road, furious and stranded. Ling tries calling for help on her phone. Nobody picks up. She looks around at the empty road, then at the tea plantation stretching out beside it, and decides to cut through on foot. She pushes through the rows of tea bushes, and then she stops. Something is in front of her. Something enormous. A Mao, fresh from the slaughter at the market, stands in the middle of the plantation and stares straight at her. Ling turns and runs screaming with the massive crocodile pounding through the field right behind her. She spots a pole and scrambles up it, dangling above the creature below. She swings her bag frantically to drive the beast back. Instead, a Mao lunges upward, clamps its jaws around the bag, tears it away, and swallows it whole millions of dollars, and all before vanishing back into the plantation. Ling clings to the pole in absolute silence, the most financially ruined she has ever been in her life. A short distance away, an insurance salesman is in the middle of a determined pitch to a peasant woman refusing to take no for an answer. His speech is interrupted when Ling comes crashing out of the tea field, wild-eyed and screaming about a crocodile swallowing her money. Ling begs the two of them for help, desperate to track the creature down immediately. The peasant woman points her up the road. There is a police station ahead. Back at his house, Shing returns to face his father, a policeman named Wang. Wang asks immediately where the report card is and what grades his son has failed this time. Shing tells him with a completely straight face that a Mao ate it. Wang stares at him. He does not believe a single word. As punishment for lying and for his poor performance at school, Shing is grounded no games, no friends, no freedom. And to make sure the lesson sinks in, Wang sits him down in front of a giant pot filled with corn and tells him to count every single kernel. Then Wang leaves for work. Shing sits there counting, listening to the sounds of his friends, playing outside and staring at the window. It does not take long. He stops counting, climbs out through the window, and runs to join his friends without a second thought. At the police station, the door bangs open, and Ling storms in voice, raised, talking at full volume about crocodiles and stolen millions. The officer on duty is none other than Wang Xing's father, who watches this woman with the patience of a man who has seen many strange things walk through that door. Ling barely pauses for breath. She does not want to answer questions. She does not want to file a report. She wants to go after that crocodile right now. Wang loads her onto his scooter and rides out to the tea fields to have a look. When they arrive, they find the insurance salesman and the peasant woman still standing there, but both of them claim they have not seen any crocodile at all. Ling ignores everyone and charges into the middle of the plantation on her own, searching desperately for any trace of what happened. Then she freezes. On the ground, half buried in the tea leaves, is a single banknote, one stray bill that fell from her bag. She snatches it up and waves it in Wang's face as proof. She is not crazy. The crocodile was here, and her money is still inside it. Ling holds the banknote up in triumph, certain it is all the proof anyone could need. But the insurance salesman leans in, examines it carefully, and announces with complete confidence that it is not a real bill at all. It is Chinese incense paper, the kind burned as an offering for the dead. Wang takes one look at it and decides he has spent enough of his afternoon on this. He turns to leave, but Ling grabs his arm and begs him to listen, pointing out that there is a crocodile farm not far from here. It is at least worth checking. The policeman sighs and agrees to take her there. When they arrive at the park entrance, they find it sealed shut, heavy chains wrapped around the gates. The whole place locked up and silent. Wang scans the information board near the entrance and spots Mr. Liu's name listed as the keeper. Mr. Liu has just arrived home after selling off all his animals, and his daughter greets him with warmth. His wife, however, is not smiling. She has watched him pour years of his life into those crocodiles, staying away from the family for months at a time, and his return is met with the cold weight of a long-running grudge. The reunion is cut short when Wang calls Mr. Liu directly. He tells the old man that the giant crocodile appears to be on the loose. Mr. Liu dismisses it immediately. He personally watched a Mao get sedated and loaded onto the buyer's truck. He saw it with his own eyes. Wang takes that seriously enough to call the black market buyers next. The employee who picks up is clearly nervous, and with the boss hovering somewhere close by, he tells the policeman that all the crocodiles are accounted for and still with them. That is all Wang needs to hear. He hangs up and looks at Ling with the expression of a man who has made up his mind. She is imagining things. He is done wasting time here. Down at the lake, Shing and his friends are having the time of their lives, splashing around in the water without a care in the world. On the bank nearby, a drunk man sits slumped against a tree. He lifts his head, squints at the tree line, and watches a massive shape emerge silently from the bushes. He jumps to his feet and starts shouting that there is a dinosaur coming out of the woods. The children look at him, look at each other, and burst out laughing. They start throwing pebbles at him, mocking the wild old drunk. Not one of them notices the enormous creature that has already slipped into the water and is moving through the lake between them. Not far away, Wong has had a change of heart about one thing. He doubles back to find Ling and asks for her phone number. He figures he should at least be able to reach her. Ling stares at him blankly and then reminds him that her phone was inside her bag when a Mao swallowed it. It is somewhere inside a 2-ton crocodile right now. Then the idea strikes her. She borrows a phone and dials her own number. If the phone is still working inside the creature's stomach, maybe they can hear it ringing and track the sound. They stand in silence and listen. Nothing. Not a sound. Wong rubs his face and calls for a bus. When it arrives, he instructs Ling firmly to get on it and leave the city immediately. Ling refuses. She tries to steal his scooter off the ground. Wong simply hoists the whole scooter up onto his shoulder. Ling responds by sinking her teeth into his arm hard enough to leave a mark. Wong, bleeding and out of patience, physically carries her to the bus, shoves her on board, and tells her plainly that if she does not drop this crocodile obsession, he will arrest her for assaulting an officer. The bus pulls away. Wong watches it go. 10 seconds later, Ling comes sailing out of the bus window and lands running, screaming for the crocodile all over again. Wong gives up arguing and takes her with him to the bank of a nearby creek, where a local farmer is standing over a frayed rope, visibly upset. His sheep was tied to that rope not an hour ago. Now the sheep is gone and the rope is not cut, it is torn apart. Wong crouches down and studies the damage carefully. Something with enormous strength pulled that animal free. He learns from the farmer that there has not been a single theft reported in this town in 3 years. Something about all of this is beginning to feel very wrong. Ling does not hesitate. She tells him the crocodile ate that sheep. Then the old farmer mentions almost as an afterthought that he saw Wong's son Shing playing in the creek with a group of friends just a little while ago. Wong's blood goes cold. He looks at the creek. The water is still. There is nobody in it, but on the bank in a scattered heap are the children's clothes. Wong scans the surface and spots a dark stain spreading through the middle of the lake. Before he can process what he is seeing, something rises slowly to the surface, a body destroyed beyond recognition. Wong does not stop to think. He dives straight into the lake and disappears beneath the surface. He comes back up, gripping what is left the severed head of the sheep. The animal has been torn apart completely. Wong stares at it for a moment, then drops everything and runs. He rides at full speed back to the house and bursts through the door, calling Shing's name. The boy appears from around the corner looking completely fine. Shing explains casually that his friends hid his clothes as a prank, and he had no choice but to go home the way he was. Wong stands there for a long moment, heart still hammering, before the relief hits him like a wave. He pulls himself together, tells Ling and Shing to stay inside the house and not go anywhere, and heads straight to the police station to report what he now believes. Without any doubt, there is a monster loose in this town. He arrives at the station at a run and asks the officer behind the desk for a gun. The officer looks back at him with the slowness of someone following the rule book to the letter and explains that firearm authorization can only come from the captain. The captain is not there. Wong does not wait. He grabs a set of bike keys and heads straight for the smuggler's market. Back at the house, Shing wanders out into the garden to cut some herbs for dinner. Inside, Ling sits alone and out of habit dials her own number one more time, not expecting anything. Then she freezes. From somewhere out in the darkness beyond the house, very faintly, her ringtone begins to echo. A Mao is right outside. Shing is standing in the garden completely unaware, just an arm's length from a 2-ton crocodile lurking in the shadows. He clips his herbs, turns around, and walks calmly back inside, missing the attack by nothing more than blind luck. At the smuggler's market, Wong moves fast. The boss tries to deny everything, claims he never bought any animals from Mr. Liu, never saw any giant crocodile, knows nothing about any of it. Then Wong spots the massive hole punched through the containment fence. He pulls the canvas off a nearby truck and finds a gigantic transport crate sitting empty underneath. He grabs the boss by the collar, presses him against the fence, and holds him there until the truth comes out. A Mao escape. She is out there right now. Wong immediately gets Mr. Liu on the phone, and the news gets worse. The crocodile is in breeding season. She is not wandering randomly. She is trying to return to the park to lay her eggs, and Wong's house sits directly in her path. He throws himself onto his motorcycle and tears out of the market at full throttle. He is going so fast, hands shaking with panic, that he loses control on a bend and goes down hard, the bike sliding out from under him and crashing to the road. Back at the house, Ling is on the phone with her mother, trying to sound calm. While she talks, the back door swings slowly open. A Mao slides through it and enters the house without a sound, her massive body moving through the ground floor floor and heading deliberately toward the staircase. She begins to climb. When Ling ends the call with her mother, her phone rings again immediately. It is Wong, voice urgent and raw, telling her to get out of the house right now. The crocodile is coming straight through there on her way to the park. But it is already too late. Upstairs, Shing turns from the landing and finds himself face to face with a Mao on the stairs. He cannot move. Ling lunges forward and yanks the boy back, then grabs a machete from the wall and hurls it straight at the creature. A Mao deflects the blade with one fluid movement like it was nothing. The two of them retreat into a room and slam the door shut, throwing a heavy wardrobe against it with all the strength they have. The door holds, then the wall doesn't. A Mao drives herself straight through the plaster and timber and pours into the room, the whole second floor groaning under her weight. Ling grabs Shing and they sprint for the window. Shing goes out first and scrambles up onto the roof. Ling follows but loses her grip at the ledge and ends up dangling over the outside of the wall, her legs swinging in the open air, directly above a Mao's open jaws. Wong comes roaring up the road on his scooter just in time to see all of it. Ling hanging from the second floor, the crocodile below her, the house half demolished. He does not slow down. He spots a bamboo ramp at the side of the road, aims straight at it and hits it at full speed. The scooter launches into the air and crashes down directly onto a Mao, sending the enormous creature pitching sideways off the second floor and down to the ground below. A Mao lands hard but is not finished. She makes one last savage lunge at Wong, snapping the air inches from him. Then she turns and crashes into the tree line and disappears into the darkness. The army rolls into the city before dawn, vehicles moving through the streets with sirens and loudspeakers warning every resident that a dangerous crocodile is at large. The operation is officially underway. At the police station, Wong steps away briefly and leaves the black market boss sitting alone in the corridor. It is just long enough. The man strains his ears and catches Shing talking about the crocodile, and more importantly, about the $1 million sitting inside its stomach. The boss keeps his face blank until Wong is out of sight, then slips out and goes straight to his crew. He tells them everything. The gang holds a quick meeting, and the conclusion is unanimous. They need weapons, they need a boat, and they need to find that crocodile before anyone else does. They load up and push off into the night in a canoe moving silently through the dark water. Ahead of them in the distance, two bright points of light glow in. The shadows. The sniper raises his rifle, lines up the shot, and fires. The canoe pulls up to investigate. Two very startled people look up from the front seat of a parked car, having their private moment shattered by a bullet. The lights were headlights. The gang paddles on without a word. At first light, Mr. Liu arrives at the police station, his face set with the quiet determination of a man who understands the animal better than anyone alive. He offers his help, and Wong accepts without hesitation. The two of them set out together with a unit of soldiers moving into the terrain where a Mao was last seen. Somewhere deeper in those same woods, the criminal gang is already pushing through the undergrowth armed and hunting for the same creature and the fortune hidden inside her. Deep in the woods, the criminal gang presses on through the undergrowth, but not all of them make it far. One of the members stumbles, crashes headfirst into a tree trunk, and drops to the ground completely unconscious. The gang leaves him where he falls and keeps moving without a second glance. Back at the house, Ling has not forgotten about Shing. She shakes the boy awake and tells him they need to go. His father and the others are out there right now, and they need to follow them. Her real motivation is her money, and Shing is old enough to know it, but he agrees all the same. The two of them take off through the streets at a full sprint and plunge into the woods after the group. They have only gone a few meters into the trees when Ling suddenly stops dead and lets out a shriek that shakes the branches above her. She is absolutely certain she has just stepped directly onto the crocodile. Shing looks down at her feet and then up at her face. It is the machete, the same one she threw at a Mao earlier, lying in the leaves where it landed. The screaming, however, has already done its damage. The criminal gang comes crashing through the brush toward the sound to see what is happening. Ling and Shing find themselves cornered with nowhere to run and no real choice but to fall in behind the gang and keep moving. The group eventually breaks through to the edge of a vast lake and stops. There in the soft mud of the bank is a footprint, enormous, unmistakable, each claw mark pressed deep into the earth. A Mao was here. The boss stares at the print for a moment and then announces his plan with the calm confidence of someone who has never once questioned his own judgment. They will use live bait to draw the creature out. They will hang it from ropes just above the ground, close enough to the water to be irresistible. And the bait, he tells them, will be Ling and the boy. The two make a run for it the instant the words leave his mouth. They do not get far. The gang grabs them without much effort, ties their feet, and hauls them upside down on ropes a few inches off the ground, dangling side by side like trophies. Shing's cries carry across the water and through the trees. Somewhere in the distance, Wong hears his son's voice, and every instinct in him fires at once. At the lake's edge, one of the henchmen wades in knee-deep and begins striking the bamboo rhythmically against the surface of the water. The sound carries down into the dark below, and then Amao rises. She breaks the surface slowly and begins walking out of the lake with the unhurried weight of something that has never needed to rush toward anything in its life. She moves toward the hanging figures, closing the distance inch by inch. The gang holds its breath. Amao reaches the boy. She lowers her massive head and sniffs at him carefully. Then nothing. No aggression, no lunge. She simply lowers herself to the ground beside him and lies still, as calm as an animal that recognizes something familiar. For a few seconds, it almost looks like it might be over. Then one of the henchmen raises a dart gun and fires. The dart punches into Amao's flank and the calm shatters instantly. She erupts back to her feet in a fury, and the gang scrambles to throw the containment net over her. In the chaos of tangled ropes and panicked hands, the net comes down, but it catches the wrong target. The boss is suddenly wrapped up in his own trap, thrashing uselessly on the ground. Amao clamps onto the net and drags him straight into the lake. The water closes over him. There is a moment of silence. Then the crocodile launches out of the surface in one savage arc and swallows the boss in a single bite. He is simply gone. Wong and Mr. Liu arrive at the bank just as it ends. They take in the scene, the ropes, the overturned equipment, the still surface of the water, but there is nothing left to act on. Amao has already vanished back into the depths. They cut Shing and Ling down from the ropes, check them over quickly, and once they are certain both are unharmed, the group loads into a vehicle and tears off along the river in pursuit. Ling grabs a firearm and fires at the water from the moving car. Every shot misses its mark, and instead of deterring Amao, it does the opposite. The crocodile turns and slams into the side of the car with the force of a battering ram, forcing Wong to wrench the wheel hard to keep from rolling. The chase spills out of the lake and across open ground. Amao clips a utility pole with her body on the way past, and it topples behind her, but it is not enough to slow her down. She disappears into the rows of a tea plantation, and the car grinds to a halt at the edge of the field. They cannot follow her in there. The news that reaches them next is serious. Amao is heading for West Lake, the largest body of water in the region, and right now it is covered in boats. Authorities receive the alert and begin moving immediately, loudspeakers going, officials pushing out into the water to wave vessels toward shore. The evacuation of the entire lake area begins. Wong pulls Ling aside and tells her he has an idea. Her phone is still inside Amao's stomach. If it is still transmitting a GPS signal, they can track the crocodile's exact position on a map and intercept her before she reaches the lake. They bring the plan to the operations center, and the technicians pull up the tracking system. But Amao is moving in irregular patterns, and the signal jumps around the map without settling. The position data is useless. The plan falls apart. Mr. Liu and Wong take to the water in a canoe. Liu places a chicken on top of a float as bait, then begins striking his stick steadily against the hull of the boat, sending vibrations down into the water below, the same technique he has used his whole life to communicate with Amao. They wait. The lake is quiet. Nothing comes. Then, without warning, Amao surges up from beneath a canoe carrying a couple who had not yet made it to shore. The impact sends them flying into the water. Wong and Liu immediately gun a police speedboat toward them, pulling alongside the couple and dragging them up over the edge of the boat. Amao circles below. She makes a run at the dangling legs, and Liu drives his bamboo stick hard against her jaws, forcing her head sideways, just long enough to get the last of the couple safely aboard. Back on shore, they regroup and think. There is one more option. Liu tells them what he has known all along. Amao knows him. She will not attack him the way she attacks strangers. If he can get close enough to immobilize her, the old-fashioned way, he can end this without a bullet. Wong listens, then looks at his own gun, with an expression that does not inspire much confidence in his marksmanship. But if Liu's approach fails, the gun is all they have left. They go back out on the canoe together. Liu takes up his stick and begins to beat it against the hull. Within seconds, they hear movement beneath the surface. Amao appears rising slowly, her enormous head coming up alongside the boat. Liu sets the gun aside and speaks to her directly, using her name the way he always has, keeping his voice steady and low. The crocodile drifts closer, following the canoe moving with them, and then she dives again. Gone. Liu sits with the silence for a moment, and then he understands. She will not trust the boat. He needs to be in the water with her alone, the way it was always meant to be between them. He tells Wong clearly before he goes over the side, if this goes wrong, aim for the upper jaw. That is where the bone is thinnest. That is the only shot that matters. Then Liu slips into the lake. Amao finds him almost immediately. She rises from the deep and comes forward until they are face to face in the water, the old man and the creature he has spent his life with. Wang watches from the canoe gun raised finger near the trigger. Amao stares at Liu and then turns and dives again. She will not come to the surface on her own terms. Liu hauls himself back into the canoe and strikes the water again with the stick. This time, Amao does not ease her way up. She explodes out of the lake like a missile, her full body clearing the surface and smashing into a concrete structure on the bank with catastrophic force. Stone and rebar collapse around her. She crashes back to earth and shakes it off. They drive her out into the open again and again, Liu working the bamboo with practiced control, drawing her movements, reading her responses, pulling her slowly towards something like calm. It is almost working. Amao is slowing. Her aggression is beginning to drain. Liu has her. And then a figure comes crashing out of the tree line, screaming at the top of his lungs, the henchman who had been knocked unconscious earlier in the forest. He has come to and he has found his machete, and he has only one thing on his mind. His brother died in that crocodile tank at the market, and he intends to make Amao pay for it personally. He charges straight at her, blade raised. Amao swings her head into him like a battering ram and sends him airborne. He crashes somewhere in the trees and does not get back up, but the damage is done. Amao is ignited again. All the calm Liu spent the last hour building is gone in an instant. She wheels toward him and the blow comes fast and brutal, hitting Liu squarely and launching him off his feet. He crashes to the ground and does not move. Wang stands alone. His gun is in his hand. He has one shot, one target, and one instruction from the only man who knew this animal well enough to give it. He looks down the barrel, finds the upper jaw in his sights, and fires. The bullet strikes true clean through the upper jaw and into the brain. Amao goes still. The most colossal creature anyone in that region has ever seen lies motionless on the bank, and the man who raised her from a hatchling lies broken not far away. The creator and his creation reach the end of the same road at the same moment. Sometime later, life in the town settles back into something like normal. Ling is no longer a stranger passing through. She is living in the house with Wang and Shing, folded into their daily routine in the way that unexpected people sometimes are. Her millions of dollars came back to her eventually, not neatly, but in fragments and pieces extracted carefully and spread across every flat surface in the house like an enormous jigsaw puzzle. She works at it methodically day by day, matching torn edge to torn edge. Most of it, it seems, will be recoverable. And there is one final detail that the town will carry forward long after the story fades. Before it all ended, Amao had already done the one thing that mattered most to her. She found her way back. She laid her eggs. Her lineage will continue.